So for home fluency, I think it's really important that most of the activities can be done from home and that they don't have to be something that the people create too much. Mine will all be documents that I can then just send home with family, and I've included, as you'll see, I've included the website for almost all of them. Any of them that have a website that talk about our use it. Now you'll notice on this one they talk about addition. I'm going to be using multiplication. I call it challenge because don't want to promote war, but anyway, so I'm just putting a slash there. So this game and all the rules are right here for my first one, and I'm just going to show you a quick demonstration of this. So you start with any deck of cards. I took out all the face cards just so then we can do multiplication, and then you divide the deck in half as the easiest way to do it. And then the difference between this and regular war is that you're going to put out each person. So here's one person, they put out 2 cards, second person puts out 2 cards. Then you multiply. So 9 times 10 is 90, 5 times 4 is 20. This person had the higher score, they get the cards. Okay, and then you turn over 2 cards again. 7 times 6 is 42, 5 times 3 is 6. This person wins again. 5 times 5 is 25, 6 times 5 is 30. This person wins. So you can see it's just a challenge. Now, if they would come up with the same amount, so when they multiply, if they would come up with the same amount, and let's see, here we go. If they both came up with a 30, then what you do is that those cards just stay there and you draw again and see who wins this time. So 80 and 70, this person wins, they get all those cards. And the person with the most cards wins at the end. And that's how you play multiplication challenge. This next activity is one that I used to do when I taught at Lee Summit High School back in the late 1990s and the early 2000s in activities in math. It's a class that doesn't even exist anymore. And it's an activity you can actually do in the classroom because it just requires a microwave. And what they're going to do is it's just practice. And I think one of the important things with math fluency is that we just practice math in any way that we can. And the more fun it is, the more apt the more likely they're apt to do it again. So this is just double and half a recipe. It's to practice some fractions, multiplication, division, measuring, but in a fun way and a tasty way if possible. So the recipe is this is going to be a normal batch of Rice Krispie treats, and these are the materials that you would need at home, and microwavable bowl, a 9 by 13 pan, but you can use other pans, just whatever it fits in. A sturdy spoon or spatula, a 1 cup measuring cup. Pretty much that's all you would need would be the disadvantage, and then a knife to cut. And then these are the rest of the food items that you would need. So here is the recipe, and then what they have to do is they have to double it. What would it all be? And on the marshmallows, you can either use mini marshmallows or large marshmallows. So I created this activity thinking if we were stuck at home for an AMI day or with my kids, that I could pull this out and we could do it. So I could easily send this home as an activity to do. This one took a little longer to do because I had to figure out how we could make it work with the instructions and doubling and halving and how did I want to do it. So it took a little time to research to find a microwavable recipe that would work. And then I just had to redo some of the instructions on how to do it. So then they would fill this in. Now on the next page are the instructions on how you would do it, and I do warn up here that, and I do talk about doing it with a parent or a guardian, with a parent or a guardian, and I'm doing this in Lumio and I figure you can't see the mouse. So this is parent or guardian will help. This right here, these are the materials that they would need. And then this is the normal recipe. Then they're going to half or double, so they'd come down here and they could double 6, okay, and 12. No, that's 8, sorry. Or else they could do the marshmallows, so they can do large or small. Now they're going to half it, so this would be 3 halves or 1 1/2. Okay, so you get the idea on how that works. Then they go through the instructions on how you could do it. And then I also suggest, hey, this one would be kind of fun to do as a third of a recipe or some other fraction. And if you have those measuring cups, you can do that. I then do give the answers, and in the Google Doc, it's a little better spaced. But then if the parents are like, wait, I don't want to make this until after I see it, then they can check those numbers down there. So that is my second activity on making marshmallow treats and double and halving a recipe. The next activity I have is what I call egg carton map multiplication, and it's, if you want to see the instructions for this and see more of it, it is, the website is right here, but you want to scroll down to number 10 and the supplies that are needed. Now on this one, so here's my website, but you do want to scroll down to number 10. On this one, you need an empty egg carton, a marker, I used a permanent marker, and then you just need 2 objects, marbles, coins, beads, objects, it doesn't matter. And so you'll see that when I demonstrate what I'm talking about. And the reason I did this is because, again, I want it to be something that parents can just do at home and want them to know it doesn't have to be exactly certain items. So now, and you can see the directions are there, and now I'm going to show you the demonstration of it. So you just need an empty egg carton. And then you're going to number down at the bottom, and you can see that I just went 1 through 12, and you just put a number in each depression, and then you take any object you can find. So I found 2 coins, I found dice, I found 1 marble and 1 bead, and you can use whatever. Now I think the marble and bead might work the best. So you just throw it in, close the container, you shake it up however you want to, you open it, and wherever it lands, ooh, I got lucky. 1 times 2 is 2. Then you close it, you shake it up again. Where does it land? Oh, now I have to work a little harder. 11 times 12. So I'm going to do 10 times 10, which is 100. And then I'm going to do 1 times 2. Nope. Now I'm going to have to do, oh gosh, listen to me do math. I know the answer is 132, but I'm trying to do it the way that I should be teaching my students. So, well, you know how to multiply. I know the answer is 132, so sorry about that. Okay, I got to do it right. Hold on. Let me pause and think. Sorry about that. Perfectionist on the math thing. So you would take 10 times 12, which is 120, and then 1 times 12, which is 12, and that would be 120 plus 12, which is 132. I know you guys already have that figured out. So that's egg Creighton math, and you can do it lots of different ways. The other thing that I would probably point out to parents is you can just also take 3 dice. If you don't have a lot of other materials at home, another game is just take 3 dice and multiply them. And so I'm going to learn that I want to multiply 2 of them and then multiply the third one. But if kids are really struggling with multiplication, just anything so that they can practice math. Now the third activity that I picked is just card games, and I think that it's really important for just playing games, and what a great social activity also, but not on a computer. I want them to be able to play it. So a couple of my favorites. Speed is one of my absolute favorite games, but I also like to do it in class, and I give a video presentation, so if the kids don't remember when they get home, because we do play this in class, they'll probably remember it. There's a video of how to play it. Trash, a lot of kids already know how to play it. And these games are just number sense games, and you just get to practice. Now, speed, yes, you can play fast, but you don't have to. And I think it's a really good one. The other one I want to tell you about is one of my new favorite games. It's called 3 Up, 3 Down. Again, it's just number sense. The thing I like about this game is anybody can play it. My daughter has Down syndrome, and my husband got this for me about 5 years ago off of Amazon. And this right here is the video on where you can buy it. And when you look at the Google Doc, I'll also have a video on, have instructions on how you can play it, because it is kind of confusing. So great game because anybody can play it. So I'm just going to demonstrate all of these real quickly. So speed is a game where you set up 5, 1, 1, 5, and each player gets 20 cards, and you're playing as just a 2-player game, and you turn over these 2. Well, and the first thing you do is, and I'm just going to play as one person. I'm going to just play my hand, and you draw either 3 or 5 cards. The rules change from who's ever playing. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you're on the same. So you're going to hold these 5 cards. Then when it's time to start, each player turns over 1 card. You can always play 1 card higher, 1 card lower than that. So I look at my hand, and I can play a jack, okay, On the 10, then I want to draw another card because I was going to have 5 cards in my hand. I can't play right now. We're going to pretend that my partner can't play either, that they can't play. When that happens, then you turn over another card. And then you look to see, yes, I can play one higher or one lower, then you keep drawing. Now, one of the things that you will need to point out to the kids, and you just play until your pile is empty. And this is just a good number sense. It just gets their mind into numbers, and it's fun at the same time. And it only takes 2 people to play it in a deck of cards. If you have an ace, okay, an ace plays on a king and an ace plays on a 2, because that is the highest card and also the lowest card. But there's a wonderful video out there. They just talk about dealing different ways than I do. So that is a quick version of speed. For the sake of time, I'm going to skip over trash. It gives an excellent explanation. I know a lot of you already know how to play it. So this game is called 3 Up, 3 Down, and it can be very confusing, just the rules, but there is the website that I posted out on the Google Docs will explain how to set it up, and it's really good. So the whole goal of the game, and you can play with a variety number of people, and there are 3 different colors of cards. The colors don't have any significance other than if you want to play with a smaller deck. So if you only have 2 people playing, like when my daughter and I play, we might play with just the green, or we might combine the orange and the blue. But that's all the colors mean. And your whole goal is to get rid of them. And on 3 Up, 3 Down, so I'm just going to, you're given 3 cards. They all go down. You don't ever look at those until the very end. And then you're going to have 3 up cards, and you pick from your hand of, well, let's just pick a hand of 6. So you have 6 cards in your hand, and I'm just going to pick which ones I put up. And what you put up, if you play strategically, then you want to put your higher cards or your clear cards. And there's what's called a clear card in here. And the clear card means that it clears the pile. Now the whole goal is to get rid of your cards first. And so I'm going to pretend like I have that one. And then I'm also I could have put down the 8, but I'm going to put down my doubles. Since I have a clear 1, I'm pretty good. So then what you do is you go through and you're playing. And you always have 3 cards in your hand. And let's say that this is my draw pile. Again, this is a quick version. There's a couple videos out there, and I post those also. So I would have this in my hand, and I can play. I always have to play the same value or higher, so I can play a 6, but I always want to have 3 cards in my hand, so I draw. Now, if I couldn't play, let's say that I had these cards, I couldn't play, I have to pick up the pile. Once this pile is gone and you don't have any more cards in your hand, then you play from here. So let's say there was a 3 and this card is gone. Then I can, and the other thing, I can play doubles at the same time. So if they're the same card, I can play them at the same time. Now, I never pick these up and put them in my hand unless I can't play. So then that comes around the next time and it's my turn. I play a clear +1, and what that means, it clears the pile, and then I can play one of these. Now these I cannot look at until I play it. So I just have to flip over a card. So then it comes around to me again, and it's my turn. And that's where these people strategically before me want to play the highest card they possibly can, because I only get to flip it over. Now when I flip it over, I can't play, so I pick it up. Okay, so if there's ever 3 of the same card in a pile, that means that it clears the pile. So let's say that I have a pile like this. I have a 3, I play a 4, the next person plays 2, 4, that clears the pile. And then you just keep on going. So just a quick one. It's a really good one. The kids enjoy it. We play this a lot of times before a break, or if we kind of just need a break. It does take some explanation. And the way I actually use this activity is, if I can, I play it at the beginning of the year. I haven't been able to do it recently because of COVID. But I play at the beginning of the year. They read the instructions that are in the box that are really confusing, and then they go through and they watch the video. So I'm demonstrating that math, yeah, you can read about it, but that doesn't help. You can watch the video about it, but that doesn't help. But it really does help when you can ask questions and somebody demonstrates how to do math. So it's a really good opening activity for kids to learn about, how do I need to learn math? And so I use this game to do that. And if any kids know the game, they become the experts with me. So it's really pretty fun. It works pretty well and a good activity. This is out on Amazon, and I do give you the link to buy it. It's a fun game, I think, and everybody, any ability can play it, because you just have to know the number higher. Okay, Side note on this one, I know I do not get a commission for doing this, but when we originally bought it out on Amazon, I went out and gave a comment about how wonderful it was and how great it was even for kids with special needs to be able to play it. And the actual person who created the game then contacted me and thanked me for doing it. So I don't know, I just really felt good about this game. So just wanted to put that out there too. Sorry that I'm now going longer. Target number, and you'll notice that this one was one of the games that was in our live binders, and it's under the 5th grade one. So if you want to play this in your class, you can find the directions in live binders, which is one of the links that we were given. It's under 5th grade and it's called Target Number. You need a deck of cards, a timer, a paper and pencil, and 1 to 4 players. Before you begin playing this, and I did want to point out, the target numbers are going to be between 0 and 100. You pick a number between 0 and 100. The one they use on the website was 80, was their target number. And you establish that aces are 1s, kings and jacks are 10, but a queen is 0, which is kind of a fun thing to put in when you're going someplace. Then you're going to deal each player 7 cards. The goal is to use all the cards and to come up with it. At the end of 2 minutes, you pass your papers to the right, check each other's answer, score 1 point for each correct answer, 2 points for a correct expression that uses 5 or more cards. So if you use 5 or more cards to get to that number, then you get 2 points. Okay, so I think you probably get this one. I'll try to do a quick explanation. So you'd set a timer for 2 minutes. Everybody, after you dealt out, everybody has 7 cards, and you would put a target number. So we're going to use the target number of 70. So we're going to try to get to 70. Okay, so one of the ways I could do it, and I'd write this out on my paper, is Jack is 10, so 10 times 70, 10 times 7. That's one of mine I could use. But then I get to put the cards back in, or at least I would let the kids. And I'm going to challenge myself to see if I can do it with more than one. So one of them that I have is 10 times 7. So I could write down Jack times 7, which is 10. Jack times 7, which is 10. And then I could also try to do one where I use more cards. And so I might try to go through and let's go 2 times 3, which is 6. And then we're going to take 6 times 9, which is 54. And then I could take and subtract 10 just for the fun of it. And that gives me 64. Subtract. I'm not very good at subtraction. How about 44? So I've used the 2, the 3, the 9, the Jack. Now I have to get to 44, from 44 to 70. Can I do it? So I came up with 3. I already told you about this one. This was a nice, easy one. Then I did another one where I used a few more cards. 9 times Jack is 90, 4 times 5 is 20, and subtract and get a 70. Then I wanted to get the 5 cards, so I had to play around. And you'll see my work down here. I do have to play around, but you do get 2 minutes to work on it. But you just have to keep playing with the cards and to get that number of 70. And you can change the number, and you can play it as many times as you want. This one you can make as hard as easy as you want, but I would have gotten 1 point, 1 point, and then 2 points. So this would have been 4 points for me on that game. So those are my math fluency activities that could be played at home. And again, I would send the documents home via email so that they could play these at home. Thank you very much. Hope that could be helpful.